All right, hello. My name is Vinny, and this is episode one of the currently unnamed uh, movie type podcast.
Movie type podcast, yes. And my name is Dorsey.
Hi.
I am also here.
Okay, how are we doing today?
So far, so good. It's dumping snow on us again, but
Sure.
it's almost over. We hope.
Okay. Well, not to taunt you too much, but 4 days ago when we talked, it was colder out here than it was over there. But today we hit about 55. So I don't.
Wow, wow.
Yeah, that's Cleveland weather for you. That's usually how it goes. It was 60 yesterday. So, and it's going to be probably 30 tomorrow. So, that's just you just keep a coat in the car in case.
I'm showing at 17, so
Gotcha.
50 sounds great. 50 something.
Okay, well, let's get started here on the currently unnamed setup we got going. How was your weekend movie wise? You went and saw? I think you went and saw at least A Cure for Wellness, right? I don't know if you saw anything else.
I went and saw A Cure for Wellness.
Okay.
I was gonna see Fences, but I ended up not being able to do that. Hopefully, I'll be able to catch it Wednesday because I think that's the last showtime before they take it out. But A Cure for Wellness, I definitely saw, and I don't even know where to start with it. Like, Gore Verbinski has done some things that I've really liked in the past. He's been kind of all over the place. Like, the first few Pirates movies I liked. I liked The Ring. I liked Rango. But he's had some duds also, and A Cure for Wellness is definitely that. I mean, you can praise it for definitely not being a studio by committee movie, I guess. But
No.
I don't know. They gave him probably too much money than they should have to do this movie. Like, it's a $40 million movie.
Hmm.
It's 2.5 hours long.
Yeah.
It's rated R. The biggest star is Dane DeHaan, which I mean, he gets typecast into like these little like shit-eating, smug, like 20-year-old kind of roles. You know, that's all he ever does. And that's nothing against him. Like, he's competent. Like, he's not great, but he's competent. But this movie just doesn't know what it's trying to say, where it's trying to go. And I can see where it might have started out as a good idea, but I mean, if you're not familiar with what it's about, basically this guy, played by Dane DeHaan, he's trying to, like, come up in the business world. He's like you know those movies where they're like a family movie and, like, the kid is sad because their dad is, like, really obsessed with, like, work, 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 work,
Yeah.
and he doesn't spend enough time with family, and then, like, he gets visited by a Christmas ghost or a magical cat or Christopher Walken or whatever.
Yeah.
And then he learns the meaning of family, blah, 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 blah. Dane DeHaan is that character. And
Which character? He's
he,
the.
he's a not evil, but, like, doesn't care about anything else but work kind of guy.
Okay, I thought you meant he was Christopher Walken. I wasn't sure what you were going with on
Right.
that. Sorry.
He's looking at a promotion. He works at, like, generic Wall Street business firm, whatever.
Hmm.
But they send him on a mission to Switzerland
Oh,
because one of the, like,
hold on.
board members.
Real quick. Let's just give a straight warning. Since it's been out for a few days and we both saw it, this is just going to be straight up spoilers. We're just going to talk about anything that happens in it. So, just saying, you don't have to worry about spoilers. I'm just going to say heck with it. We're just going to say whatever we feel like. Just go on.
I mean, I'm
Sorry.
going to advise that people not watch it, period. But I was just going to go over, like, the basic
Sure.
premise. But,
Okay.
well, he gets sent by board members to retrieve, like, one board member that they need to sign some paperwork off in Switzerland.
Yeah.
He's at, like, a wellness retreat that looks all beautiful and idyllic and perfect. And of course, they have deep, dark secrets, blah, 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 blah.
Uh-huh.
And instead of bringing the paperwork with him to get him to sign, they have to get him and bring him to New York for reasons that make the movie work, and it's longer than 15 minutes. And then basically from there, shit goes down. So that's the basic idea of the movie. And then he ends up getting stuck there because he's in an accident, and they gaslight him into thinking he needs to stay there, which would have been, a perfectly fine hour and a half, like, single location type of thriller.
Sure.
But it just gets so drug out and starts running in circles.
No,
so many scenes that have no reason to be there.
No, you're right. It's definitely this kind of movie where I think the kind of career that Gore Verbinski's had, he did the Pirates movies, and those 3 movies combined are worth it, like, what? They made over $2 billion combined, I think, something like that whole franchise. And,
oh yeah, he's a director that's in, like, the billion-plus-dollar club as far as, like,
yeah,
income and gross.
And, then he did Rango, which I also really liked, and that won him an Oscar, and that movie made more money, so, he's in a spot where he can kind of start doing that Seth Rogen thing where he's like, look, I can do this movie. It's only going to be $40 million, which you can make back in TV sales and Netflix, so...
I mean, that's kind of a lot for horror movies these days, though.
It is, but, I mean, what I was going to say was, that's probably what you said in the beginning about how it wasn't a very, like, boardroom type by committee kind of movie, because it's only a $40 million budget. And
yeah.
So they can get away with some of the creepier stuff that happens in it, and he is able to shoot that very well, along with the rest of the movie looking as good as it does. I just wish that the screenplay had been trimmed down. You have that 25-minute sequence where he goes out into the village, which looks like the exact village from Woman in Black. Like, it's the exact set. Even though it's in a different country. And the only thing that really matters in that scene, well, 2 things. One, we learn the driver's okay. Because when he
is that necessary information, really, though?
I guess because he comes up later, and when he's like, just get me out of here, and he jumps in the back of a car, and back in the car, he's like, get me out of here. The driver knows who he is. But after he gets in that accident in the beginning, and then he wakes up with the broken leg, and everyone in the audience is like, his leg's not really broken. And he just goes, oh, okay. And I'm like, are you going to ask if your friend that drove you here is alive? You kind of don't seem to care. So he walks to the bar.
Because he's a bad businessman. He only cares about money. Ha 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 ha.
Yeah. And when because he sees him in the bar, he's like, how's your car? Like, like, oh, I guess you're alive. Other than that, the only purpose of that whole 25 minutes is that she drinks a beer, and that gives her, it makes her hit puberty, basically.
But I still don't understand how all that. She was at least 18, yeah?
Well, I'm assuming that she was under the same, age-defying whatever that Jason Isaacs had, that he was literally sucking the youth out of everyone there. So he's doing the same thing to her, but it seems...
So it made her get taller and whatnot, but she never got her period.
Yes.
It doesn't... What?
Well, when she gets that cramp, and she's like, what's wrong? He's like, I don't know what's wrong with me. He's like, oh, you're fine. And I'm thinking, wait, is she going to be like Carrie, and when she finally has it happen to her, then he's going to be like, oh no, and then she gets psychic powers and burns down the building? Because I'd be okay.
That would have been a better movie. At least then she would have had like some kind of character arc.
Well, no, her character arc is that she was a baby ripped out of a witch or something 200 years ago, and they threw her in a river, and the baby survived. So she's actually like 200 years old, I guess.
I mean,
and then the guy rips off
I don't
his...
know that that's a character arc so much as that it's just events that happen to her. Like, she doesn't really influence any of the events in the movie. She's just kind of there for the ride.
I mean,
Not in any, like, really significant
no.
way. Like, she's on anywhere near, like, equal footing with either Dane DeHaan or Jason Isaacs' character.
No, it's just like... It's something for Dane DeHaan to look at and go, oh, I guess I care about that. But he'll, like... There's that part where he's sitting in the Iron Lung, and he looks over and he sees the guy he's looking for. He's like, Pembroke, what happened? And I'm sitting here like, dude, get over it. It's been, like, days. And I think at that point, when he calls up from the bar... And they're like, what are you talking about? No one told us you were in a hospital.
That scene was so funny. Just like the background of like papers like flown around in chaos. Right. It's just like, that was probably the only like lazy, like visually part of like the movie. Like, it's so stereotypical. Like, why are people throwing all these papers in the air? Just nope. That's what happens in a cartoon when like
business.
The mayor of Townsville is in trouble.
I think at that point, though, when you're getting, basically you walk into a room, grab a thing, and then Jason Isaacs walks in and goes, nope, that's enough for today, and he puts them back in a room. And I'm like, security would catch him sooner if they existed. It doesn't always have to be you that shows up. Like, that he's got, like, that assistant with him who also looks like a Nazi. And if he had if he had showed up and be like, oh, Dr. Jason Isaacs isn't going to like this, that would make him more imposing. It's just this dude walks in every 5 minutes and goes, by the way, I'm the villain. We're like, we know.
He's everywhere at once. Like,
yeah, and
I understand he's doing something sketchy, but I'm sure he has things to do other than like follow this guy around all day.
No, that's what I mean. He's just like, it's like, okay, if you don't want this guy here, let him go. Like, he should have noticed at this point that, oh, hey, this guy's just kind of, he's messed up, he doesn't want to come back, I'll just go ahead and, leave and get another job.
But I feel like, I mean, at least towards the beginning, he had every opportunity to leave, but he didn't because he was, like, looking for...
Oh, no, he signed that...
this Pembroke guy, but, like, at the bar, they asked him, are you getting back in the car? Like, was there anything really stopping him from saying no?
Other than he signed...
I don't remember. That's a real question.
Well, no, remember, when he was like, hey, I want to go see Pembroke. I'm like, sorry, our visiting hours are stupid. And he's like... but it's 3:15. The sign says 3 o'clock. Can I talk to a manager? She's like, here, sign this obvious contract. He doesn't
even read it first.
You're kind of a businessman of some kind. You think you would know what a contract looks like, but no, just sign it. Like, oh no, this is the guest book, totally. It just looks like a contract. Like, okay.
Yeah, there's no names on it, but it is the guest book. Yours is the only signature that's going to be on it, though. Like, nobody loves their families. It's fine. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, and it's like, okay, so do you want to just keep this guy so you can just suck his youth out of him? It's like you could have done that immediately. You should have looked at him and went, all right, this guy's obviously a bit of trouble. Let's just stick some eels down his throat immediately. Which, that too, I was like, I think in your write-up that you did, you mentioned The Beyond. And it's like, yeah, if this movie had just... I was thinking the same thing of, like, if this had just gone total, just batshit right away. Like, I'm not saying the entire thing had to be just, like, a torture porn movie, but go with that crazy...
I would have liked it a lot better if it had just been totally batshit, but it took itself a little too seriously to do that.
It kind of does. And after a while, you're just like, this hasn't gone anywhere in at least... my God, 20 minutes. He's just in a room putting together a mystery that...
we already put together, or we don't really care about that much.
Well, I mean, you kind of figured out parts of it. Like I said, as soon as he looks down and he's like, oh, my leg's in a cast. Huh. if your leg's only been broken for 3 days, you're still gonna feel it. And then he's immediately putting weight. I'm thinking of that part where he pulls out a sink out of the wall. And I'm like, yeah, you did that on a broken leg. And then when he finally rips his cast open, it's like, that took you a long time to realize your leg wasn't broken. Like, a stupidly long time.
Yeah, I mean, they just make the character out to be like he's slow, but with no, like, acknowledgement that he's not very smart. It's just like the screenplay is not very smart. There's 3 different scenes where he examines his toilet, and then once he finally opens it up, oh, there's eels in it. Like, there's eels in everything else too, so what?
That was kind of funny.
We get it.
That was kind of funny where he looks at it, he sees eels, and then he looks away and they're gone, and then he opens up the seat and he sees one getting away. He's like, oh no, fuck you, and he reaches for it. Like, nuh-uh, I'm gonna get proof. It's like, dude, remember when you drank the water for the 4th time, and then you looked at your finger and it moved, and you looked at it and went, that's a normal thing that happens.
That's the point when you leave.
No, he looked at it like, this is a normal thing that happens when I touch water. It totally just starts morphing into its own thing. Yeah, that's how that works.
Yeah, there's a lot of wasted good ideas in this thing.
There are. And I like when he rips out his tooth. And then he needs a shot. He goes to the cop, and he needs a shot of whiskey, and then he drinks it, and he's like, oh, right, giant open wound in my mouth. Oops, I'm an idiot. Let me do it again. It was... It's unfortunate that... if the movie had been more batshit right away, half the things we're complaining about wouldn't matter. It's like if this is just a movie about the spectacle of just watching crazy stuff happen, and Dane DeHaan just goes through all this body horror for, not 2.5 hours with 4 endings.
Oh gosh. I went and saw it with my sister and then our friend, and they were like, the first thing he said when we left the theater was like, did that have like 3 different endings, or am I crazy? Like, I thought it was over so many times, and then it just kept going and going and going.
Or there's that whole...
And I had to tell him, yep, definitely watch the same movie. That happened.
It was a part of, like, when he's sitting there and they have this 1940s facility with ancient medical tools, yet they have perfect dental implants. And he just smiles at him like, who would want to leave? And then the next scene, he's back to normal exploring shit. I'm like, my roommate was like, what was the point of that? I'm like, I think he was just faking it. He's pretending that he's brainwashed, so then they stop watching him. But then I'm like, but they really weren't watching him anyway. It's like they let him get kind of far and then came and stopped him. Because the security there sucks. Also, it didn't matter that security was having their giant cult ball with all the workers.
Yeah, what? I don't know. If it's just like weird, like creepy imagery for the sake of it, then that's fine, but don't try to be deep and then show me all this other stuff that doesn't make sense.
Did the ending bother?
Man.
What is that?
The ending was a mess.
Did the ending kind of bother you? Like, so much
yes, it did.
That it just kind of hurt the rest of it?
I mean, I was losing patience with it for a while in the middle, and but the last like 20 minutes or so were just completely off the rails. Like, what really gets me is just why do we have to prove that Jason Isaacs is more evil with a bizarre like rape incest plot when they've already established that he's milking the life out of the people in his facility so that he can be immortal? Is that not enough of a big bad guy plan that they also have to shoehorn a rape scene in?
Well, I guess the point is, like, he's like, we're gonna create a new heir. And it's like, but you're keeping her young already. Like,
But what do you need an heir for if you're going to live forever yourself?
yeah, and it isn't even like I I I. I don't know. Is he making masks for her too? Because he's obviously making them for himself. He's growing faces so that way he can dramatically rip his face off and say,
And it's green underneath? Why is it green underneath?
because he's rotting away. I mean, that I understood. Like, okay, so you're wearing a suit of skin and you're actually rotting away. So the
But
youth.
it was pretty bright green.
Well,
I don't know.
what
Maybe I'm not familiar enough with rotting faces, but
what it really was is that he ripped the
maybe,
face.
or it's bad CGI. I don't know.
No, he rips off the face. And he looks and he says, "You best start believing in ghost stories, Dane DeHaan." And then he was like, "Oh wait, wrong movie. I'm sorry." And it's like, "I will keep it in. It's fine."
It was, yeah, it felt really out of place. Like an Evil Dead type of thing, which is not what this movie had been up until that point.
Although, if it had just turned into Army of Darkness at the end and it just got insane, I'd have forgiven a lot.
That would be fine. Yeah, that would have been better than the ending that we got.
Yeah, I mean, I was thinking about the part where he's getting his tooth drilled out of his head. And then the next thing you see, he's in the back of the car yelling, "Drive, drive, get me out of here." And I'm like, did they let him go? He's just here. And then
It seems like he's able to come and go as he pleases, and he just doesn't.
Jason Isaacs then says, "You attacked my dentist." And I'm like, wait, that's what you deleted? You left all this other crap in, but you cut out the part where he fought his way out of that basement. That's the part you decided didn't need to be shown.
Yeah, but we get 5 different scenes of what her name was, Hannah, of like the generic female character just like
horror name,
walking around in circles or riding a bike. Like,
yeah, we need this. Well, she needs to say trailer parts like "no one ever leaves," and then she quickly then says, "Who would want to?" Like, oh, that's for the trailer, the first part, and then the real line is the second. Fuck you.
Her entire character didn't even really seem necessary, other than to like say the trailer lines, which they could have just had those like random old people do. But
yeah,
I guess it's creepier if like a
young
infantilized girl in a dress does it. I don't know.
Yeah, it was unfortunate that her character could have been something. Like she definitely could have had some kind of story, but she's just going around like being an 8-year-old in an 18-year-old's body. That's as much character. That's her excuse for not giving her any personality. So, all right. Well, you did what else?
Just wonderful.
Yeah. Let's agree that it's a fun movie to watch on Netflix in about the end of the year, but it's long but it looks very pretty.
I don't know that I would watch it again. But people, I mean, I was drawn to go see it because I'm a fan of horror movies and because like the aesthetic of the film looked good, so that's why I went. So if that's your motivation for wanting to see it, I say save your money and wait till it's on Netflix.
Yeah.
Or hit up like a, half price Tuesday or whatever if your area has that.
Oh, yeah, you're right. I'm at I gave it about 3 out of 5.
I rated it 2.5.
Okay.
So we're about on the same page.
Okay. Did you anything else that you managed to watch over the week?
I rewatched Tangled on ABC just because I was bored, but nothing new.
Okay. Well, I did also see The Great Wall.
Okay, tell me about that, because that one I did not see.
The Great Wall honestly was better than Cure for Wellness, at least to me.
Not a super high bar, but alright.
Well, there's no... I actually had fun with it. I mean, I was gonna... With Cure for Wellness, I was never bored. Like, the very end with all the multiple endings, I was. A little bit. But with this, I was constant... this was a movie that is under 2 hours, which... is the best thing going forward is that it's short. It's pretty compact for what it is. None of the characters are all that deep. They're pretty much archetypes. Matt Damon's fine. They didn't make Matt Damon work too hard. He's got this weird accent, and you're not sure what it is. Then he explains that there's a part where he's explaining how he's a mercenary, and he fought for Spain against the Franks, and then he fought the Franks against someone else. Then someone in England hired him to rob some other guy, and so he's like, I fight for many flags, and he loses the respect of this girl he's talking to, and she's like, I only fight for one flag, and that's this flag, and it's like, yeah, it's China, we know. And so his accent has like no discernible.
Do they hook up at the end?
No, it's kind of like a mutual respect of like, it would never work out because you're a mercenary and you have to go and live your life, and I'm going to sit here and run the Great Wall Army by myself, this 1,700-mile long wall all by myself. But the story isn't really the important part because it's nothing deep. It's just he shows up, Willem Dafoe's there, and he's like, oh my god, other white people. And Matt Damon's like, I know, right? And then these iguana monster things come out of the earth, and they are horrible CGI, and they just are, and you just deal with it. But it's actually kind of a fun movie. It's definitely another like $5 day kind of movie.
Right.
But like
so the trailers made it seem like Chinese hero Matt Damon.
Hero's about
like movie. How?
No, he doesn't.
Weirdly racist is this movie?
It's not. There's really no the story is just two Europeans come to China looking for gunpowder, but that happened. I mean, that's the thing that did happen. That Europeans slowly moved their way over and explored China and learned things and brought it back with them. I mean, it's not like this is a impossible story to tell. So he never.
And then they saved the Chinese from the lizard monsters.
Yeah,
or
but they do. But it's a situation where honestly the heroes of it are like Matt Damon's there and he helps, and he's there for like the final kill, but he doesn't make the final kill like the woman general does, whoever her name was. I don't remember any of the other characters' names other than they had a strategist, and his name was Strategist Wang. And
Strategist Wang.
It made me happy that was his name. I was like, that's the kind of movie this is that his name is Strategist Wang. And this is the guy who did Hero and, House of Flying Daggers and...
Right, he's done some, great, martial arts movies.
Yeah, so it's not like... This is definitely a very prominent filmmaker, and he decided to call one of his main characters Strategist Wang. So, it's supposed to be entertaining. They wanted to tell this highly, entertaining action film, or Matt Damon happens to be in it. And he could have been, honestly, if they had gotten some more, unknown actor, he wouldn't be all over the posters. I don't know how this is being marketed exactly in China, but I do wonder if he's not that prevalent on the poster. Now I'm looking it up because I'm thinking about it. But,
apparently I hear they like Matt Damon in China. Just from their, the box office revenue over there, his movies. I know The Martian did great, and, a couple other ones over in China.
Mm-hmm. Oh, here. You know what? I found one right now. There's a poster that has Chinese on it. Okay, well, no, there's one where Matt Damon is in front, but the other white guy is not on this poster. But in the American one, he is. So
no Willem Dafoe.
No, there's no Willem Dafoe.
On the poster.
Willem Dafoe's this guy that already lives at the wall. And he's like, I was a mercenary 25 years ago, and they kidnapped me because I learned too much about black powder, the gunpowder. I know too much, so they won't let me leave. If you guys don't ask too many questions, I'll just show you, and we can run away. and we'll be fine. But no, yeah, the poster he's in front of everyone, but it definitely shows the other characters just as strongly. He's just standing in front of them, so it's more like the American version. He's more prevalent because they want everyone to think it's good wall hunting, which is what I would have called it if I could have. But it's like all the soldiers are color coded. Like the red ones are the archers, and all the blue ones are the women, and there's like purple.
What?
Yeah, every soldier wearing blue is a woman, and they have like these bungee cords. And when they're having the iguana monster things are coming up the wall, they get on these bungee cords with halberds, and they jump down and they're slicing away. Then they get pulled back up, and then they all start getting eaten. And I'm like, yeah, that was pretty impractical, guys. And then these guys are on the bottom wearing purple, and they're like, all right, open the wall. And then these slits open up, and these giant swirling blades come, and they're slicing these iguana things in half. I'm like, could have been doing that immediately, guys. Like, just do that, and you're fine. It's a lot of crazy shit like that. There's a lot of creative, like, fights and... Well, I shouldn't say fight, say, like, battle scenes and weapons that they use. It's like that. It's a pretty easy to follow movie. It's not too deep. It stays interesting enough. There's a part with hot air balloons where there's like, well, the only way we're going to get to the Capitol fast enough is if we rod these balloons. So then there's like 100 of these balloons set up, and then when they're trying to light them off to go, they keep fucking up and killing themselves, so only like 6 make it off the ground. So you're just watching them all blow themselves up, and I think it was supposed to be funny. And it was. So, no, there's no, like, whitewashing, like, great white man saves China. He just happens to be there. And the heroes definitely are varied, and it's not all about them. So, it's pretty fun. It's not the best movie. I probably would never watch it again, but I would, if it's there, it's not a bad time. I would recommend it in general.
Okay.
Yeah. So I don't. If you if you have no interest in it, then it's not gonna. I'm not saying like if you have no interest in it for the trailer, then you're not gonna like it. It's the same thing. So. Okay.
Yeah. Probably something that I would call a pass.
Sure.
But I'm glad you had fun.
And what else? I think Fist Fight came out, but I'm gonna just hold off on that. So
I didn't see it, and I don't really plan to. I don't think I even know anyone who's seen it.
No, I don't either. It'll show up on Netflix by the end of the year, and I'll go, oh yeah, that thing. Hey, that came out this year.
Oh yeah, I think I've only seen like one commercial for it. I mean, I don't watch TV like that much. I have like HBO, which doesn't really have the commercials, and like the basic like ABC, CBS, whatever.
Yeah.
And then whatever they're trying to harass me with on YouTube. So maybe they know that I'm probably not the target audience for bro comedy number 864. But yeah, all my ads leading up to this weekend were cure for wellness, cure for wellness, cure for wellness, like repeatedly.
I don't know if I'd call that a bro comedy. It just seemed more like a high school movie, like like nothing in this movie actually happens in high school. This is all silly. It's
about the teachers, though, right? Like the teachers are fighting.
Yeah. That's it. It's I don't know. It's like, I'm not giving you money, but I will watch your movie someday, maybe
Maybe someday.
Yeah. Let me pull up for this weekend, the 24th. Come on.
New movies.
Yeah.
Get Out. I'm so excited.
Okay, yeah, we have Get Out, which I'm probably gonna go see immediately.
And 2 movies no one's heard of. They've been dumped here.
Yeah, Collide, which feels like a movie that's been sitting on a shelf for a year and a half, and like, oh yeah. And
and this year's Norm of the North,
Rock Dog. Hell yeah,
I saw
Rock
my
Dog.
first commercial for Rock Dog yesterday when I watched Tangled on like ABC.
Oh, Rock Dog looks incredible, except it doesn't at all.
Yeah, it looks like some quality. So I'll be seeing Get Out
Oh yeah, I'll probably
and
end up
never probably seeing either of these other ones.
Get Out. I'm probably gonna end up.
Unless you want to and report back.
Collide feels like the kind of movie I'd go see on like a Monday by myself, or just early showing. Oh, by the way, it sucks if you couldn't tell it. Um,
Really, Nicholas Hoult, Felicity Jones, they should be marketing this. Like, she's got a big boost in star power from Star Wars, and I haven't seen anything. It must
right?
suck.
I've seen a
Like,
couple.
it clearly is awful.
I honestly, I
Anthony
gauge
Hopkins is in it, too.
Ben. Yeah, Ben Kingsley's in it. Like, I gauge some of that off of like if I'm in a bar somewhere, if I'm out eating and I glance at a TV, and if I see something that's obviously a trailer, I'm like, oh, okay. I don't have cable. I don't really, I use ad block, so I don't really know what's being advertised. So, okay, so this Collide movie's getting some marketing. Okay. The poster says, how far would you go for the one you love?
Oh, boo.
And I hate that because you have a movie called Collide, and they're literally at this Dutch angle, and I would have put even the best fall down sometimes. Because I want that to be how the whole city's on fire, and they're sitting there kissing, and it's the skyline, and it's on fire, and then the credits roll, and then Howie Day starts playing, and then
Oh, no.
I'd stop chair and clap, like, I'm the only one in the theater, but yeah. You get a 5
I
out
don't
of
think
5.
Rock Dog isn't even on the list of, like, movies playing near me, and this is pushed out usually for, like, a week and a half. So if I click on the Mad Max Fury Road, it'll say, we'll be playing it Friday, Saturday. Come join us. But
Well,
they're not even showing Rock Dog on here. I'll have to check, like, my
well, didn't you
Regal
say,
app or something.
didn't you say you're near kind of like a more normal, like, multiplex type here? Or you just have those two?
We have 4. The one I usually go to it's like a normal, like, it's the IMAX one, and it's a Regal, 16 screens, like, pretty normal theater.
Okay.
And then there's a Cinemark one, and then there's a smaller, Regal in the mall that has, it's like got the reclining chair gimmick and whatnot.
Yeah.
And then there's like the indie beer and pizza theater that sometimes does house, sometimes does like second run stuff, and sometimes plays whatever it feels like The Godfather or Fury Road.
Okay. Rock Dog, if there's no report back from either of us on Rock Dog, I'm not going to be too concerned. It looks better animated than Norm of the North. Norm of the North looked like a DVD movie that they decided to put in theaters because they hate children.
That's literally what it was.
So, the main thing is Get Out, which, God, I can't wait. That has 100% of Rotten Tomatoes right now out of like 20-something reviews. Like, everyone loves that movie so far.
Yeah, I'm always excited for a good movie, but yeah, it looks great.
Okay, well, I think we're good. It's been about a couple hours. We're at
Yeah.
hour 58 minutes. I think we're good. I'm going to try to edit down some of this. But, yeah. I think we're good for the first 1 and 2 episodes currently as of Unnamed Movie Type Podcast.
Okay, I will brainstorm and Google to make sure nobody else has already called that.
Okay. And I'm going to go work this out and get this together. And anyone listening in, thank you for listening to the first couple of episodes. And guess we'll see you at the movies.
Okay.
Have a good night.